Hey everyone, and happy President's Day. Or should I say the true name that this day was given when it was first installed. Happy Benjamin Franklin's Day. Today is Benjamin Franklin's birthday. The first and greatest president the Americas have ever had. But wait, Baker, you say. Benjamin Franklin was never a president. Sadly, you too have fallen for the Washington myth. It is a myth. It's a lie that's been told down through the eons by a man who most of you probably didn't know is Swedish. Georg Washington is a man out of Malmö, Sweden, who was in the Americas and doing what Swedish people do best. He got into a fight. But not only that, what you have been told through your school is the genius of crossing the Delaware. And you've seen that famous painting of Washington crossing the Delaware. Did you know that's not the original painting? The original painting is this one. If you notice, another flag is a little bit more prominent than the American flag. This is the double Swedish flag flown by Washington at his crossing at the Delaware. And now you'll say, Baker, this is made up. But look at the facts. What is the crossing of the famous Delaware? It's a dirty trick. Because when did it happen? In the dead of winter. Who were they attacking? Some German people. What were those Germans doing? They were celebrating Christmas. Who would ever ruin Christmas for their own gains? I can tell you, as a neighbor of the worst country in the world, a Swede would do that. A Swede would serve you surströmming at a Christmas party and laugh in your face when you bit into it. Proof one, that Washington wasn't a great American hero. He was a Swede doing what Swedes do best. Cheating at war and fighting in winter. Do you know who would never do stuff like that? Who would always respect holidays? Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin, the man who built the government, wrote the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, all of the important papers that you base your life on, was cheated out of his history. The man who built the White House and had enough foresight to not just invent electricity, but also install electricity in the White House, has been cheated out of his place in history by a Swedish guy called Georg Washington, a cheater at war. Do we have any more hints than this very damning oil painting I had? Well, of course we have. You have it in your wallet right now. If you open up your wallet, you will see how the mint will always tell you the truth. Back after the two president periods from Benjamin Franklin and Washington cheated and took over, the people who worked at the mint thought, how can we remember our favorite guy, our first guy, the genius that was Ben Franklin, so he wouldn't be forgotten in history? Well, who is on the least desirable bill? George Washington. Who is on the most desired bill? Benjamin Franklin. So even though these people knew there would be heavy prices to pay if they were ever found out, they gave you the clue. Benjamin Franklin was the first, the greatest president ever. That's why he is on the greatest banknote you have in America. But why did they try and keep Benjamin Franklin down? Why did the Swedish guy Georg try to ruin his legacy? Well, because like every other Swedish person, he's jealous. Nothing hurts a Swede as much as someone else having success. Like when Denmark won the Euro Cup in Sweden in '92 in football, the Swedes weren't celebrating. They didn't say, "Nej, vad var det bra, vänner." They said, "Boo," because nothing hurts a Swede like other people with success. And did Benjamin Franklin have success? Well, you tell me. The man who invented electricity. No, don't let the Washington Knights fool you. He discovered electricity. No, he invented it. Have anyone ever seen electricity before Benjamin Franklin? No. So he invented it. He didn't just go into another room and find his car keys and a little bit of electricity. No. He went out, said, guess what this could do? And then he invented electricity. What runs everything in the modern world? It's not surströmning. It's not $1 bills. It's electricity. So without Ben Franklin, no modern world. We would still be living in the dark. Kind of like the Swedish people, who are a little behind. We also know he was a genius because when he built the first and greatest structure in America, the White House, he already had it wired. A man who invented electricity had the foresight and thinking, how do I best show off this electricity? Well, I built the presidential mansion and I painted white so it'll illuminate even more. Imagine you are living in 1950 or whenever America existed, and you are walking through a city that's as dark as Sweden, and on the hill you see this light on this white building and think, this is progress. This is Ben Franklin. A man who not only built the White House, painted it white, but also wired it up so it forever would be the first building on the planet that had electricity. But again, as soon as Washington moved in, he erased his entire history. They even claimed that the White House wasn't officially installed with electricity 2 years later. But the truth is, as the picture shows, Benjamin Franklin wired the White House, painted it white so it would be easier to see with the lights on, to show that America is the shining city on the hill. This is historical robbery, and you should be ashamed that school teaches this. Why is Ben Franklin the greatest president in history of mankind? And why do we celebrate him on his birthday? He invented electricity. Every modern piece of electronics runs on electricity. So without Franklin, no TV, no internet, nothing, no cell phones. Everything done is done by Franklin. He wasn't just the first and greatest president. He was the man who built the modern world. Washington, what is he known for? Cheating at war. If you are just a war cheat, wouldn't you bury the truth about your predecessor? So how should you, now you know the truth, spend this President's Day to remember the real first president? Never trust a $1 bill. Never. $1 bills are good for one thing and one thing only: stuffing into G-strings. That's where they belong. Don't use them. Only use a hundos, because hundos is the Franklin currency. And demand the truth. Don't let Big Washington lie to you. No one believes, after hearing this, that a man who cheated at war could be the first president. Of course, it's the man who built the White House, who wrote the Declaration of Independence, and who invented electricity, who America, the enlightened people, would choose as their first president. Not some Swedish upstart who couldn't even cross a river and face people on a normal battlefield. No, he had to do it in the middle of the night, in the middle of winter, at a party. So, never use a one for anything else than G-strings. Never trust a Swede. And always remember, without the great Ben Franklin, we wouldn't be here today celebrating President's Day on my channel, learning about the truth. So have a great President's Day, and turn into JNN Network whenever else we have the truth for you.